Once upon a time in a busy African town filled with the sounds of traffic, laughter, and street vendors calling out their goods, there lived a humble widowed seamstress named Amina. She was a quiet and hard-working woman who had raised her only child Zara in the small one-room home they rented on the edge of the market. Zara was born deaf and mute from birth. She could not speak, and she could not hear, but she had the brightest smile and the gentlest heart. Amina adored her daughter and worked long hours sewing clothes just to make sure she never went hungry, but the world was not kind to Zara. The children in the neighborhood teased her relentlessly, calling her ugly, strange, and worthless because she could not respond to their insults. She would only lower her eyes and walk away. Her silence often made her an easy target, and even some adults mocked her behind her back. Amina always told her, "My child, your worth is not in what people say but in who you are deep inside." Still, Zara could feel the sting of every cruel word. One afternoon at the crowded market, a group of older girls surrounded her. They laughed at her tattered clothes, pointed at the scars on her arms from years of rough work, and one of them pushed her so hard she fell to the dusty ground, her basket spilling fresh vegetables everywhere. As she scrambled to pick them up, the girls laughed even louder. A shopkeeper nearby watched but said nothing. No one came to her aid. Zara kept her head down, holding back her tears. She returned home quietly, handing the few remaining vegetables to her mother. Amina saw the dirt on her dress and the pain in her eyes. She gently pulled her close, wiping her tears, but in her heart she felt anger toward a world that judged people by their flaws and not their hearts. Little did anyone know that the quiet, humble girl they mocked was the daughter of a man of great influence far away in the capital city, a wealthy CEO named Adissa, known for his towering skyscrapers and powerful companies. Had no idea his only child was living in hardship. Years ago, before he became a business tycoon, Adissa had fallen in love with Amina, but his family had disapproved because she was from a poor background. When she became pregnant, he wanted to marry her, but his powerful father threatened to cut him off from the family fortune. Amina, heartbroken, had walked away, never telling him she was carrying his child. She believed it was better to raise her daughter alone than to watch her grow up in a cold, loveless household. But fate has a way of revealing secrets. One day, as Amina sat sewing outside their small home, a black SUV pulled up, and a well-dressed man stepped out. He introduced himself as Mr. Kofi, the personal assistant to CEO Adissa. He said the company was holding a community outreach program offering free training for disadvantaged youths, and Zara's name had been put forward. Amina hesitated, unsure if Zara would be comfortable in such an environment, but something in her heart told her to let her try. Zara was shy when she arrived at the company headquarters. It was unlike anything she had ever seen. The tall glass building glittered in the sun, and the people inside wore expensive suits. She felt out of place but was welcomed warmly by the staff. Over the next few weeks, she learned tailoring, design, and business basics. She worked harder than anyone else, staying late into the evening. Her skills quickly caught the attention of the program's founder, CEO Adissa himself. One evening, as he toured the training room, he noticed Zara quietly working in the corner. Her focus and precision reminded him of someone he once knew. Curious, he asked his assistant about her, but no one knew much except that she lived with her mother near the market. Days later, during a closing ceremony for the program, Zara was called to the stage to receive an award for her outstanding work. As she stood there holding her certificate, the crowd applauded, but CEO Adissa found himself staring at her face. There was something in her eyes, something in her smile that pierced his heart. After the ceremony, he asked to meet her mother. Amina arrived at the company lobby, unsure why she had been called. When she stepped into the CEO's office and saw Adissa for the first time in years, her breath caught in her throat. The past came rushing back, and she realized he still had no idea this was his daughter. The moment their eyes met was filled with unspoken history. Adissa's voice trembled as he asked Amina if Zara was his child. Amina nodded, tears streaming down her face, and for the first time in his life, Adissa felt his world shift. He walked over to Zara, knelt before her, and signed the words "my daughter" in basic sign language learned on the spot from a staff member. Zara's eyes widened as she realized the man everyone respected was her father. In that moment, the years of pain, mockery, and hardship melted away. Adissa took Amina and Zara into his home, giving them a life of comfort and dignity, but more importantly, he gave Zara the love, protection, and respect she had always deserved. Those who had once mocked her were silenced by the truth that the girl they called ugly and worthless was in fact the beloved daughter of the most powerful man in the city. And in time, Zara used her new voice, not made of sound but of action, becoming an advocate for people living with disabilities, ensuring that no child would suffer the way she once did. And her story became a reminder across the nation that worth is never measured by words but by the heart.